Remember when we talked about how Penn Station was changing? It's no longer just talk, the upgrade is official. Amtrak and the U.S. Department of Transportation have gotten to work, pushing for one of the largest rail overhauls in American history. Penn Station is finally getting the attention it deserves. So what changes are happening? And could it change the way over 600,000 passengers travel every day? Tune in to today's episode of Onthetrains. Big news! All right, as of late October 2025, the project to completely transform Penn Station has officially hit 3 major milestones. Construction is now set to start by the end of 2027, which means we're finally getting closer to seeing this place reborn. Amtrak has already invested more than $140 million and dedicated significant manpower into the Penn Station Access Program, a key part of the overall upgrade. They're working closely with the MTA to minimize delays and speed up the work by extending track shutdowns, providing an additional 55 hours of downtime and increasing the workforce by nearly double. This hands-on approach shows how serious Amtrak is about managing taxpayer dollars wisely while improving the travel experience for millions of passengers. In addition, the Department of Transportation has officially opened the search for a master developer, the main private partner who will oversee the entire rebuild. They're inviting companies to submit their proposals through Amtrak's online portal. To keep everything on track, they've also brought in top advisors, Hunt & Andrews Kurth for legal guidance, KPMG for financial oversight, and AKRF for environmental consulting. Right now, there's also a massive service optimization study happening. It's basically a deep dive into how Penn Station can run smoother, with fewer delays and better flow, maybe even with trains running straight through from New Jersey to Long Island without stopping. That might sound simple, but for New York's rail system, that would be a game changer. Andy Byford, Amtrak's special advisor and former NYC transit chief, is leading the charge to keep the project on time, on budget, and free from red tape. When it's done, the new Penn Station is going to look and feel completely different: open spaces, brighter lights, better wayfinding, and architecture that actually feels like New York. Not the cramped basement we've been stuck with for decades. Amtrak is also moving full steam ahead with the Penn Station Access Program that will add Metro North trains directly into Penn. Despite ongoing debates about Gateway Tunnel funding, the Penn upgrade is charging forward. If all goes well, the master developer will be picked by mid-2026. Designs will roll out soon after, and by 2027, the big construction will finally begin, one of the largest rail rebuilds in U.S. history. It's been nearly 60 years since the original Penn Station was torn down. This time, they're aiming to get it right to give New York a station worthy of the city itself. So what's next for New York Penn Station? The next 2 years are going to be critical. By 2026, Amtrak and the the Department of Transportation are expected to select the master developer as the main private partner who will take charge of redesigning and managing the entire construction. This developer will finalize design details, coordinate with city and state agencies, and make sure the new Penn Station fits both the modern infrastructure standards and the city's long-term transit goals. Once the contract is signed, we'll finally start seeing real design renderings, updated construction timelines, and budget outlines. Then comes 2027, the year when the big build actually begins. This phase will focus on expanding the main concourse, adding more entry and exit points, and opening up the station to natural light for the first time in decades. New ventilation systems will also be installed to improve air quality underground, along with wider platforms and modern wayfinding signs to make navigation easier for commuters. These upgrades aren't just cosmetic, they're laying the groundwork for the full-scale Penn Station Transformation Project, a complete overhaul that aims to turn the station into a world-class transportation hub. Think of 2026 to 2027 as the foundation years, when Penn Station finally shifts from decades of patchwork fixes to a real future-focused rebuild. The goal? By the end of this decade, Penn Station won't just be cleaner or brighter, it'll be the heart of a new era for American rail travel. Now let's look at the difficulties and resources needed to make this upgrade dream a reality. Funding and challenges. In August 2025, US DOT awarded a $43 million federal grant to support project development, preliminary design, and necessary permitting. This funding officially marked the start of the large-scale pre-construction phase in the coming years. This was preceded by a significant change in project management when US DOT withdrew the $72 million grant it had previously provided to the New York Metropolitan Transportation Authority, MTA. Management and responsibility were transferred to Amtrak, the owner of Penn Station, to ensure the project was delivered on schedule and with greater transparency. The total size of the Penn Station upgrade project is currently estimated at $7 billion, one of the largest construction projects in U.S. rail history. Despite initial funding, the project is still in the process of seeking additional private sector funding to meet the full cost of the main construction phase. Tight financial management and effective coordination among stakeholders are seen as key to avoiding delays or cost overruns. Upgrading a station this busy and complex is no small feat. Penn Station serves over 600,000 passengers every day on hundreds of trains from Amtrak, NJ Transit, and Long Island Railroad, all squeezed into limited space underground. Coordinating construction without disrupting daily service is a huge challenge. That's why Amtrak and MTA have agreed on extended track shutdowns and more off-hours work to minimize passenger impact. Another big challenge is managing the many stakeholders involved, from federal and state agencies to private developers and transit operators, all while keeping the project on budget and schedule. Environmental approvals and safety regulations also add layers of complexity, requiring expert legal and environmental teams to navigate smoothly. Plus, the project's scale means costs can quickly escalate, so tight financial controls and transparent communication are essential to prevent overruns. The story of the past. Penn Station was not always in such a cramped and dilapidated state. In fact, if you look back in history, Penn Station was once a proud architectural and engineering icon of New York City. Built in the early 20th century, the station was designed in the Beaux-Arts style with large stone columns, soaring arches, and spacious, airy spaces, making everyone who passed by admire it. However, in the 1960s, when the need for urban development increased, the old Penn Station was demolished to make way for Madison Square Garden and the surrounding high-rise buildings. This was a highly controversial decision because the beautiful and magnificent station was replaced by a dark, cramped, and no longer aesthetic underground station. Since then, Penn Station has become a nightmare for train travelers: cramped space, outdated track system, lack of natural light, and very crowded. Every day, more than 600,000 passengers travel through here, making it the busiest station in North America, far surpassing many major airports. Despite upgrading efforts such as the construction of Moynihan Train Hall next door in 2021, most of the old station has not been thoroughly renovated, making the travel experience still very uncomfortable and frustrating for many people. Speaking more about Moynihan Train Hall, this is a new station center renovated from the old Federal Post Office building, about 255,000 square feet, located right across from Penn Station across 8th Avenue. The station features a 92-foot-high glass dome that allows natural light to flood the interior, creating an airy and pleasant feeling. Moynihan Train Hall primarily serves long-distance Amtrak trains, with 8 platforms and 12 tracks shared with Penn Station below. However, because these tracks are still part of the old system, the new station does not completely solve the operational bottleneck at Penn Station. Penn Station and Moynihan Station together handle 650,000 passengers a day, making it the busiest station in North America. Although Moynihan has created a more modern and comfortable reception space without a new or expanded track system, trains still have to wait their turn to use the narrow tracks below Penn Station, leading to frequent congestion and delays. Therefore, this large-scale renovation project is not just a normal repair but a comprehensive revival, helping Penn Station become a world-class transportation center worthy of the stature of New York City.